Hello, there's a 10-part formula to all your marketing. That includes presentations, leaflets, posters, adverts, anything. Now, you may not be able to include all 10 of these elements, but to the extent that you can include as many of them as possible, it really makes all of your marketing far more effective. So let me explain. The first thing you need is a headline which addresses your ideal target customer or client, your niche, where you've positioned yourself as an expert. And the headline should highlight a problem or an issue they've got that they're concerned about. Because 2/3 of the time, people will be motivated to solve problems to get rid of a negative, whereas it's only 1/3 of the time they're likely to be motivated to achieve a positive. So you want to highlight an issue or a concern. And then you want a subheadline that promises a solution. So it might be something like, is your child being properly educated at nursery school? We can show you a way to, monitor the progress, or something along those lines. But basically, here's your issue or problem. Here's a solution. The second thing you need is what's called a unique perceived benefit, or a differentiation factor. So you're positioning yourself as an expert to your ideal customer or client who's got an issue or problem that you understand, and you're offering a solution. Your unique perceived benefit basically says to them, I can understand your problem and solve it better than anyone else. And if you do that, what that means then is you're not competing with all the others who are commodities. You're setting yourself apart. You can charge higher prices, you'll sell more. And not only that, you can put your price up. And your price is not price sensitive. So your product or service is not price sensitive, which means you can maybe put your prices up 10% and only lose, say, 5% of volume and end up making more profit. So you need a unique perceived benefit. That could be anything, wider range, better quality, which you can prove, better testimonials, better guarantee, more flexible terms, whole rate, better delivery terms, next day delivery, immediate, same day delivery, anything like that. You then need features and benefits. Now, you've probably heard this before, but basically people buy based on emotion, but they justify it afterwards to themselves and to significant others and people they work with, for example, on logic. So therefore, the benefits are what persuade them to buy, but then the features are the things that they can improve that they've looked at, which is why they bought the product. So if you took a car, for example, the benefit might be that it gets you out of trouble on a motorway because the acceleration's fantastic and it feels really, cool and sexy to have this car. But the features might be 0 to 60 in so many seconds and leather seats, and they're all features. But the benefit is the psychological or emotional impact it has on the customer or client. So you need both that to persuade them to buy, that they justify it so they don't cool off. You then need a compelling offer. And again, this is very interesting and very few people really understand this. There are actually two types of offers. There are incentive offers, which are aimed at now buyers. Now buyers typically form 3% of any market, except there are a couple of exceptions. If it's everyday purchases like milk and cheese and groceries, then you would go for incentive offers. And also emergency things like a burst tire or a burst radiator, they would be incentive offers. But generally, for services and more significant purchases of goods, there's this thing called the buyer's journey. So if you took 100 suspects at the start, 30% will drop out at some stage and not buy, but 70% of them will go along this buyer's journey, such that at any time, 67% of them are future buyers, 3% are now buyers. So if you're just having an incentive offer aimed at the now buyers, you're only appealing to 3% of this market. Whereas if you've got what's called an informational offer, which is something like it's called a lead magnet. So it's something like a free report or a free brochure or ideas guide. That gets you in at the start of the buyer's journey. And it then means you can nurture them along the buyer's journey with what's called a drip campaign, which is where you supply further pieces of information along here to help them make their decision to eventually buy. And they'll buy from you because you've nurtured them. You need to then take the risk away. So 2 ways of taking the risk. The main ways, or 3 actually, if you include this, but the 2 main ways are social proof. So that's things like testimonials, but it's also things like qualifications, newspaper clippings, anything that proves that someone else has bought this thing or that you're capable of delivering the promise you've made here. That's social proof, and that's very powerful. And also risk reversal, commonly known as a guarantee. So to the extent you can take all of the risk out of the purchase by offering something like an unequivocal guarantee, immediate or after a few months or whatever, but a money-back guarantee or a risk reversal, those two things are very powerful because it takes away the risk of buying this product or service. This also takes away the risk, though, the reasons why, because people that can be cynical and skeptical, okay, and they'll see something that sounds too good to be true and they'll think that's too good to be true. So you need to be able to explain here reasons why you can make this powerful offer here, this compelling offer, give all these guarantees, and it's not too good to be true. So it would be something along the lines of the reason we can guarantee to give you your money back, for example, is because in our experience, very few people actually take us up on the offer. We know it's a safe bet because we know that it's unlikely to happen. But if you do want us to, we will honor it. So it's a way of explaining why this isn't too good to be true. And then the last thing you need, and it's very important really, is this call to action. And the call to action has to give them a reason to act now. So there's a couple of things I could have added in here actually as well. There's it's called a stimulus. So you need scarcity. So you need to act because there's only 10 left, or you need to act now because there's a deadline. But you need a reason to make them act now, either scarcity or a deadline. And that's a call to action. And you also need in here specific, really clear, specific detail as to exactly how they get this thing, exactly what they have to do. So, maybe multiple phone numbers, maybe the email address, maybe the credit card payment facilities, debit card payment facilities. You need to tell them exactly what they do. And the more you tell them exactly what to do here, the more likely they are to actually do something, because otherwise inertia takes over. So there you have it. That is the formula that all marketing should follow. And to the extent that any of those elements are missing, an improvement can be made by including them. Let's put it like that. If you wanted to know how being part of a mastermind group where you benefit from other people's experience and ideas, how that would help you in your business, if you're a small to medium-sized business owner, have a look at businessroundtableuk.co.uk. And if you think that's anything of interest there, we might need to speak. Hope you found that interesting. Thanks very much for watching.